The media is pumping him up as some sort of unstoppable force. Donald Trump has portrayed himself now consistently as fighting for the working people, and he has a record of sticking it to working people for 35 years. If any other candidate in this race had his record, there would be nonstop reporting on it. But unfortunately, he's being pumped up because many in the media with a bias know that he'll be easy to beat in a general election. So we're going to put a stop to it now.
Well, Marco Rubio continuing his new line of attack this morning against Donald Trump, not only trying to paint him as a con artist, but as a media darling whose only purpose is to pave the way for Hillary Clinton. Let's bring in Judith Miller, Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter, author, and Fox News contributor. And Lynn Sweet joins us, Washington bureau chief for the Chicago Sun-Times. So, Judith, the media is not that clever, propping up Donald Trump so that he can lose in November. But it seems to me that in many ways it's just the opposite, that the media kept predicting the demise and implosion of Donald Trump.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Washington Post said it very well this morning. They said that Donald Trump, as far as the media are concerned, has gone from being unthinkable to inevitable without passing go. Or, I mean, it's just extraordinary the way our colleagues in the media, almost all of them who cover politics full-time, have been wrong about Trump, suddenly turned, and all of a sudden there's no way to stop him. Yeah. Or as Drudge said, you know, it's over. Well, it ain't over. And I think that what you heard from Marco Rubio last night, and the theme that he's now settled on, which is absolutely the weak spot of Donald Trump, which is what the gap between, as Steve Hayes says, what he says and what he does. The fact that he only hired 17 out of 300 people who applied for jobs, right, Americans who applied for jobs at Mar-a-Lago in Florida, that's where he's going to be hurt. But the media have only recently turned their attention to that.
Yeah. You know, Lynn, Trump leads in almost 12 of the states, or 11 of the states that will vote next Tuesday, which stands in stark contrast, of course, to what many in the media and pundits were saying last summer and in the fall. Are pundits finally admitting, you know what, we didn't get it right. We misunderstood or underestimated the strength of Donald Trump and his supporters?
Well, I think we've done that. We collectively, people who predict, weeks ago, maybe even months ago, before, you know, even heading into October, now, excuse me, into Iowa, people who are in the predicting business realized that writing off Donald Trump was not good political reporting. But I want to underscore something that Judy had said. By the New Hampshire primary in 2012, Newt Gingrich had already been attacking Mitt Romney over his Bain Capital connections and the business practices of the company. Okay, you might remember it, or some, as that being a Democratic narrative, but that started in the primary. So, you know, campaigns also are responsible. I know we're here to put a little blame on media, but where were Cruz and Rubio and all the others who are running, there are multiple of them, talking about the business record of Trump, right, not just whether or not he's doing well in polls.
All right, let's talk about the media's performance in last night's debate. Some of the questions seemed rather soft. There were no follow-ups to the non-answers, which left it up to the other candidates to follow up where the moderators didn't. That, of course, led to the food fight. Here's part of it. Take a listen.
I watched him repeat himself 5 times 4 weeks ago. And I
saw you repeat yourself 5 times 5 seconds ago.
I watched him melt down on the stage like I've never seen anybody. I thought he came out of the swimming pool.
I said, well,
let's talk
about your plan. Himself every night. It says 5 things. Everyone's dumb. He's going to make America great again. We're going to win, win, win. He's winning in the polls.
It's all true.
And the lines around the state. Every night. Same thing.
You will have time to respond if you just let Mr. Trump respond to what you just posed to him.
Well, it went off the rails from there. You know, Judy, it looked to me like a cage fight, but our own Chris Wallace said in the last hour that, no, it was a demolition derby. But he also said it was an embarrassment to the GOP party. What do you think?
Well, I think it's kind of all of the above. But I'm not sure what CNN was supposed to do in that instance. I mean, look, you had guys, Cruz and Rubio, who were intent on really sticking it to Trump for the first time, just kind of 2-on-1. And at that point, what were the CNN anchors supposed to do if they talked over them, as Dana Bash just did, as you heard in this episode? You know, they were just shouted down, and they were actually stepping on Rubio's lines. So at this point, you know, when you're in the middle of a mud wrestle, what do? Pick up some mud and hurl it, or do you get out of the way? I think it was a very difficult moment, but this is what the debates have descended to. I bet maybe it's great for ratings. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, Lynn, are you surprised? Trump inspires enormous support among people and almost an equivalent amount of antipathy. His negatives are incredibly high.
Well, it's interesting that he is, you know, this is a whole asymmetric campaign season that we're in now, Greg, where nothing in the past really has predicted how things will unroll now, or certainly we've said a zillion times that things that would take down other candidates just make Donald Trump stronger. And that's why when you look at something like a debate performance and the media role as questioners, they have to sometimes, I think, understand that you have to get out of the way, too. And I don't think anyone would have wanted to, you know, you try, as Dana did last night.
Yeah.
Absolutely no criticism of her. But there's a point where the people want to have their back and forth.
Right, and they're going to do it.
Because also, you have an hour. I mean, more than, they had a lot of time. If this was a 5-minute mini debate or something, maybe you have to be an enforcer.
I got to jump in. I'm getting the hard wrap here. But Lynn and Judith, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.